You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K25. It's myself, Mo Mooks, alongside me as always, three-time NBA champion, Mr. BJ Armstrong. BJ, what's good?
Oh, Bo, it's another week, another great week of NBA action that we get to cover. How
Mhm.
fortunate are we? How fortunate are we to stay in the fight, Mo? We're just staying in it. Every day, Mo, we just we just show up. So here's
Yes, sir.
another example. Just stay in the fight. When it doesn't look good, Mo, just stay in the fight. Just stay in the
Hey,
fight.
say no more. Say no more. Well, we got some questions today from some of our listeners in the Discord
Oh,
server.
questions. I
We've not
love
done
it.
this for
Love
a
it.
while. If you guys are listening to this and you want to get involved in the show, join the Discord, which is linked in the show description, and join part of our community. And if the link doesn't work for some reason, some people say the link doesn't work, just tweet me or message on Instagram or something. I'll send you the link personally. But here's a question from Pump Jake. He says, "Why do you think people treat Shea differently with the foul baiting to how they did it with James Harden? I see a lot saying how Shea manipulates the defense, but feel like there was a witch hunt for James Harden." Now, this is a pretty interesting question because Shea Alexander, as fantastic as he is, and we've spoken about his talents on this show, he does create a lot of separation. And it was interesting watching that Cavs OKC game because I think Doris Burke even said on the broadcast, she goes, "It's amazing how he creates separation without pushing off with his off arm. However, I see his off arm pushing off quite a lot. The refs don't call it the way they call it for other players. And yeah, Shea does get to the line a lot, even though statistically I think it's down this year compared to previous years. I need to check that. But when James Harden was at the peak of his powers in Houston, people used to criticize him heavily for looking for fouls. I think last season Shea got a lot of criticism for his foul hunting. I think I put a video on Instagram talking about it and it got millions and millions of views. But I think the thing is with this, and I think this is the answer to Shea and Anti Edwards and Cha Morant, is everyone loves you at the start. And this is something I noticed in the NBA, right? Everyone used to love Jason Tatum until he got to the finals and didn't win, and then got to the conference finals and then lost. It's the thing with Shea and these guys who are now on everyone's radars as the new kind of stars of the league. Everyone loves them now. But if it goes 2 or 3 more years and they've still not won a championship, the media and a lot of the fans then turn on them and start finding ways to criticize them, like they did with James Harden, who, after not winning a championship for however many years, they decided to start criticizing him a lot because really, prime James Harden was an all-time scoring great. But what are your thoughts on this situation, B?
That's a big question. I don't know if you can answer it in this. We don't have enough time to answer that question. At least I don't feel I have enough time to answer that question. I will say this about I say this about today's mentality. There's a word, Mo, that we have to be able to understand. It's called perseverance. You have to be able to persevere and go through this system. It has its ups, it has its downs. You may win the championship, you may not. What's amazing to me is, I can't remember which athlete it was who said, I thought things were going to change after I won the championship, and I realized it didn't. It's a word that you got to understand that perseverance. Can you persevere this journey at the onset? And do you understand it? Most of us don't. Some of us never do. And the ones that get it, they understand there are two more obstacles that are going to come with that one. Okay. One, there are going to be obstacles. Okay. I've used that word now a couple of times. Okay. And then in this perseverance journey, it's going to come adversity. Now, we all want to be loved, liked, appreciated, and all those things. That comes with obstacles on your journey. That comes with adversity on your journey, but it requires you to persevere through all of that to get to the finish line. And no one wants to do it now. Okay. Let's not forget. we have a standard of excellence we must adhere to as the barometer to say, well, where am I at on that journey? So Mo just gave me an example. He said in 2 or 3 years, he's noticed. Don't forget, Mo, the guy behind me, okay, it took him 8 years to get to the NBA finals. You didn't persevere yet. You don't just come to the NBA, go to college for 1 year. Some of them never go to college to learn how to play. Some of them aren't fortunate enough in their first two, three, some of them their whole career. They don't get a chance to play for one Hall of Fame coach, let alone 2 or 3 Hall of Fame coaches. Some of you, some of us don't have the fortune to say, we need a little luck there. Now, you make your luck by working hard and all of the things we're talking about. But for the most part, we don't persevere. So after 2 or 3 years, you go, well, I did everything I could. It's not my fault. And then you move on. It took this guy 8 years to get there. Now, if that is the barometer, Mo, that's the barometer. The standard is the standard now. How can we sit here and all of a sudden say, well, I did it for 2 or 3 years and it didn't happen. It's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the case may be. The standard has been set now. That's why the term old school and all of that bothers me, is because we aren't giving our youth the facts. Here are the facts. You decipher how you want to approach that. If that is the barometer, if that is whoever your greatest player of all time, if that is your greatest player, there it is. He is, without question, he's one of, if not the greatest.
He is.
Okay. Okay, that's another show. We're not going to get sidetracked. But here's the barometer. And now we're just going to ignore it, act like we're not going to acknowledge it. We're going to act like it never occurred. We're just going to say, this is what we want. There it is for all to see. The thing that bothers me more than anything as I mature is you used to have to go to the elders to get your information. And I suddenly realize now that the kids today can go right to the Google and other places, YouTube, to get their information. So therefore, the elders aren't really the teachers now, because the teachers, this is Google and AI and YouTube and all of that. However, what I have learned is they still have to come to the elders to confirm whether or not it's true or not, because you don't know if what those are saying is true. And I'm just learning all of this every day, because Mo, you don't have kids, and it's one thing that all of us parents, you realize suddenly that you're raising a child in a world you really don't know anything about. I didn't grow up with AI. I didn't grow up with YouTube. I didn't grow up with Google. But my kids, I got to raise these kids in this world, and my wife and I, we don't know anything about it. And we're not alone in this new world. So the standard has been set. Confirm it. Confirm what I'm saying. Oh, you've only done this for 2 or 3 years? What gives you the right to even have a thought? We've seen someone, we've seen others before you. Wait a minute. You mean there was a world before you? Yeah, believe it or not, there was. And believe it or not, we've seen players who look like you. We've seen players who play just like you. What? I thought I was the one of one. I thought I was him. Well, yeah, you're only like 20 something. You haven't been around the block. So I'm not fazed by this. It is what it is. Like, okay, perseverance comes with a price. Okay? Being from Detroit is one thing, Mo, about Detroit. We have grit there. And the only way you're going to lose a fight is if you don't get up. So, Mo, you can knock me down, you can get a hit, da, 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 da. But Mo, is one thing about me is I'm going to get back up. And let that be a lesson for any young person who wants to achieve success. It may come in year two, it may come in year eight, may come in year five. But when the opportunity knocks, you'll be ready. But you got to have the grit to persevere, to get through the obstacles, to get through the adversity. And then, Mo, when you finally walk through the door, it's going to be so great. You will appreciate, well, you will appreciate what you had to go through to get there. And that is the greatest feeling.
Yeah,
And I can tell you that my own career, we had to go through so much to get through Detroit in our day that the appreciation to get there, Mo, was so great that it kept us at an all-time level. You because you realize, Mo, how hard and how difficult it is to get there. You hear me say this almost every day. Seems like every show. Winning, Mo, is very hard in this league. Here I am, Mo. I'm 57 and I still respect winning. I respect it. Why? Because Mo, I know what's on the other side of that. Okay? I know how hard it is to win. I know the leadership that's involved. I know the talent that's involved, all of the things that people do. But everyone says, well, if I average 20 points, I got to go somewhere else. I need help. There's no perseverance. This person doesn't have the ability to overcome obstacles, no adversity. Well, it's you can't just keep running,
Mhm.
right? This isn't direct Mo. This is anything in life. This is life. So I'm prepared for the journey, Mo. And that was a great question, by the way. And I know that was a long answer, but yeah, this is not easy. Respect that. Respect your successes. Celebrate your successes because they're difficult. That's the game.
Absolutely. AG says, with the new CBA rules, is the big three era over?
You know, can we just go for a second? What is the big three era? Well, I never got that. Like, what's the big
So,
three era?
so it's having three star players together on a team, right? But here's the thing, that has happened historically in the NBA
Yeah, I mean, it's happened since the beginning of time.
for
So
facts. Facts.
yeah,
However, the last real big three was the Boston Celtics in 2008, right? And the reason why I say real is because they traded for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. And after that, you had LeBron and Chris Bosh run to Miami to make their big three. You've had Kyrie and KD and James Harden run to Brooklyn to make their big three, and so on and so forth. And those kind of big threes haven't worked out. I don't think that this big three era is over because if you draft three great players, you will have all three great players on your team. And even if you don't draft them, the Phoenix Suns have got, in their eyes, three star players on one team. So I don't know how we're defining the big three era, but I think even now with the new CBA, if a team clears enough cap space, they can still sign the two big free agents they want in the summertime. It will just be harder to compete because their depth will be worse, as you are seeing with the Phoenix Suns. Like, as in now it's harder
yeah,
to have
yeah.
three max contracts on one roster. That is true.
This is
However,
this
if you
is
draft the guys like the Celtics did with Tatum and Brown, you can afford to keep them because you have the bird rights and so on to keep them on the team. You just have to pay the luxury tax.
excuse me for not partaking in these media shaped narratives. Okay. We come up with these terms. I just think it's being lazy, the big three, as if like, we knock the people down and the players we knock as if they just miraculously by themselves executed that. What we have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is the following. when you are building a team, you got to understand the rules and the regulations that you have to abide by to build it. Okay. So how can you build a team? You can go through the draft. Okay. However, if you're going to go through the draft, you first must have championship caliber scouts and NBA personnel to identify. Example, Steph Curry was the third point guard, I think the third or fourth point guard taken, and he was drafted, I think, number 7 in his draft.
Yep.
No disrespect to any players that went ahead of him. First rule when you are an NBA executive, you cannot miss a great player because you don't know where that great player is going to come from. He was the fourth point guard taken, right?
Yeah.
Let's fact check this. It was Ricky Rubio taken ahead of him, Johnny Flynn taken ahead of him, Tyreek Evans taken ahead of him, and then Steph Curry. Okay. Now, so if one way to improve your team is through the draft, because Mo, as you just put, you said that allows you the flexibility under the current CBA, collective bargaining agreement, to retain your players. That's one way to do it. The second way to do it, trades. You can make a trade. You can identify a player that maybe is undervalued in another place, but he's valued here. Okay. A la Dennis Rodman. That's how the Bulls got him. Okay. They traded for him. Third, free agency. Suddenly a player can unhappy in one place. He's disgruntled in one place. Kevin Durant goes to the Golden State Warriors. Boom. That's the third way you can do it. And the fourth way, Mo, is you can be a player who develops from within. Okay? You draft that player a la, your Celtics, Jaylen Brown. He evolves into the MVP, right? Raise your hand if you said you saw that one coming. Okay. So there are 4 ways to take advantage of the collective bargaining agreement. Now, Mo, if you're in this profession, you got to figure out your best route. If the championship is in your goal, how to do it. I don't understand the big 3. But what I do understand is you can't pay everybody. Mo, you can't pay everybody. Oh, is that what you mean, BJ, by roster construction? Okay. So you're actually constructing a team. And you got to figure out the basketball business, who's actually good enough to do this, and the business of basketball. Is that what you mean, BJ? Yeah, that's what I mean. And the people who understand that, they have a unfair advantage in today's climate. Why? Because, Mo, if you pay a player who doesn't hold up to the responsibility of a star player, in today's world, we call it, he's a superstar. If they don't hold up to that level of excellence, your organization has no chance. You have absolutely zero chance to win in this league because now, Mo, how many times do we hear the books? They want salary cap relief. They want flexibility. Mo, these are all terms that we just, we say it all the time. We probably say it every day on our show, but we never explain what it is so that we'll stop saying things like, well, these 3 guys just casually figured out how to go someplace. No, everyone has they got the same information. Now you got to figure out how to do it. You got to figure out if you are trying to win a championship because, Mo, there are rules that you have to abide by. So now that we have it, go after it. Are we going to do it in the draft? Are we going to do it through free agency? Are we going to do a combination of both? Are we going to figure out we're going to draft a player? I just identified a championship caliber player yesterday. The kid, I always forget what, the Thompson twin down in Houston.
Amen Thompson.
Amen Thompson. Now, Mo, what I can see, that's a championship caliber player that came in the draft. But you know what I love about him? He's developing from within. Now, he didn't come in being a championship player, but you can tell that he is evolving into a championship player just by some of the things he's doing. What is this, year 2, year 3 in his career?
Mm-hmm.
You can see that. So now when you see that, Mo, you start saying, we have a chance. We have a chance. Because now they have to figure out financially and make a projection on where this kid can be. And now they'll probably have to trade a player and move a player to complement him at some stage of his career. So you have to have a deep understanding. It's not as simple as the big three. No, that's not how this works. Okay, it's not as simple as, well, let's put together 3 players and then we win. Now, those 3 players may get the most, coverage, but this is you have to understand through and through this business and the numbers and the value of the players. But more importantly, how do you retain those players so that you don't want to shortchange your run because you understand how difficult this is. So I guess we'll stay with the term, the big three or the big three era. But I think that's a lazy term. It's just lazy. Like, it's just like, no, give some of these executives the credit that they deserve. Give some of these coaches the credit that they deserve, because, Mo, you have to have a lot of things come together all at once. It's not as simple as saying we have the 3 best players, because let me give you this little jewel. Everyone can't coach a great player.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Everyone can't coach a great player. And the hardest thing to do in this league is to coach great talent. Because with that great talent comes great expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone can't do that. Everyone's not equipped to do that.
Mm-hmm. We have a related question from Bleed Green. However, he is specifically asked to hear Mr. Perry's thoughts on his question, so we'll save that for Monday.
Okay.
But Andy Williams says, how is Isaiah Collier? Could do with BJ's shooting percentage from 3. How's Isaiah getting on in Utah, B?
Isaiah is doing great. And, I was talking to a former NBA player, and we were just talking about today's point guard position. And he was like, one of the things, BJ, and we were talking, and, just because I love listening to people's perspective, right? You know what I mean? I don't believe that I have the only perspective. Let me hear Mo's perspective. Let me hear this person. Let me hear. I just love talking about the game. He said, man, I'm so glad that I played in the NBA when I played. I said, how come you say that? You wouldn't want to play today? And we were talking about style of play. He's like, no. He said, B, when I came in this game in our era, we played roughly around the same time. He said, it wasn't required for me to be able to shoot on day one. And I said, and he was a former point guard, and he said, imagine have to come into the league and everyone says you got to be able to shoot to play the position. He's like, how many players would have actually played in that era who played in that era who couldn't shoot and played the position and are in the Hall of Fame? Mm-hmm. But today, the very first thing is you got to be able to shoot. Bro, that position carries the responsibility. Can you manage a game? Can you defend at your position? Can you actually run an offense? Can you facilitate? Can you pass the ball and make the decisions that need to be made on any given moment, a screen roll or whatever? He was like, he's like, B, when you came in, it wasn't a requirement to play the position. Now the position requires you. Can he shoot? Can he do anything else? Well, that doesn't matter. Can he shoot? And we're drafting players based on one skill set. Oh, he's a knockdown shooter. Okay. Well, let's just stay home on the guy and see what else he does. And then we draft these players because they can shoot. And then they come in the NBA, they never get a chance to shoot, and then they're out of the NBA 2 or 3 years later. So my point being, how's Isaiah doing? He's doing great. Why is he
Fully
doing
terrific.
great? Yeah, because he's learning the position. He's getting an opportunity to play. And then, Mo, what's the one thing that we always talk about when you get to the playoffs? You make adjustments. You figure it out. We are very thankful that we have a young man who's getting a chance to play and start in his rookie year. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. He's getting a chance to play and learn on the job. Wow. Mo, wow. You don't take these moments for granted. You don't take these moments as like, well, this is how it's done. No, it's not. And right now, the Utah Jazz have made a commitment to saying, we're going to go through the draft and we're going to develop our players. That sounds like we're willing to go through the obstacles. We're going to persevere through this. We're going to go through the adversity. And then when we get to the other side, we're going to say, okay, this was the commitment that we made to get to the championship. So you can't ask for a better experience than to play in live action in the NBA and learn every day from playing against the best players in the world. We got a young man that plays against Ja Morant. He plays against De'Aaron Fox. He's playing against Steph Curry. He's playing against your Celtics. He's playing against Trae Young. It was great. A quick story. When Trae Young hit that shot against the Utah Jazz.
From the halfway.
You know what I told him, Mo?
Mm.
Keep it moving, young man. It's the NBA. Hey, Mo.
Yep.
We've all been there. Mo,
Yep.
we've all been there.
Yep.
He was like, B, did you see that? I was like, yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I said, you was on the court. You saw it. I said, but you know what? Keep it moving. And you know what, Mo? That's why you play. That's why you practice. You play because you see great players do great things every day. And Mo, they were right there to win that game. But that was a great play
Yep. No
by a
doubt.
great talent.
No doubt.
So yeah, how's he doing? Yeah, Mo, he's doing great. He's doing great.
Okay, cool. Let's end with this question here from Big Con. He says the two Denver versus Spurs games were brilliant last week, and it was really good to watch Wemby versus Jokic. It would be great to see that as a playoff series. Which teams would you like to see match up in the playoffs this year? So if we're picking the first round, right? If we take the top four seeds from each conference, I'll tell you the team, and you tell me who you want to see them play in the first round. Yeah?
Yeah.
Purely enjoying the series, right? So the Cavs, who would you want to see them matched up with in the first round?
I have so many questions about the Cavs. The Cavs have the Cavs escaped the first round yet?
They lost to the Knicks in the first round when Scott was there.
Yeah. I'm
And
not
last year they beat Orlando in the first round. No?
first round. Did they beat? Okay. Here's the thing. I'm not taking what you do in the regular season and automatically assigning it to the postseason. I'm not doing that. Remember, Mo, the late Mutombo, Dikembe Mutombo. They were, I think, the first 8 seed to beat the
Yeah, the
first seed.
Nuggets. Yeah.
Okay. Now, regular season play is one thing.
Yeah.
The postseason is another. I have a lot of questions still about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I still do. They're the best regular season team. They are.
So who would you want to see them face in the first round? That would be a good test for them. that will help you answer some of these
It it it
questions.
it it, it it doesn't matter.
Okay, but that's not the
Uh,
question that's been sent in, BJ.
yeah, yeah. Okay, but okay.
As a fan, who would you like to see them go up against in the first round?
Who? Okay, who would I like to see them against the New York Knicks
In the first round.
in the first round? That's who I want to see them play.
In the first round, the Knicks. Okay, okay. And
You
what
said
about
who would I like? I want to
okay?
see them. You know why I want to see them is because I want to see them embrace the media. I want to see how battle tested they are. Okay. I want to see Mo. I've lived through this. We played the New York Knicks. And the New York is different than any other place. Okay. When you go into playoffs, Mo, remember you got to sit there and listen to all of this too. The first two games of a series, Mo, we went down to the Knicks 0-2.
Hmm.
Okay. So it's not like you play the first game and then after the game you go back home and you go and then you come back. No, Mo, you're sitting in New York City.
Yep.
Okay. That comes with you have to have the discipline to be able to sit there, absorb all of that. Their fans are hostile. It's a great environment, and you have to be able to perform in Madison Square Garden. I want to see the Cleveland Cavaliers get thrown in the fire. And I want to see not their physical talent. I want to see mentally, can they handle that? Because let me say this. I remember that series, and I thought the Cleveland Cavaliers was it a couple years ago? A
Hmm.
couple years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
That series still haunts me because they didn't lose on talent. They lost because of the physicality of the game. And I want to see now if they can match
Okay.
the mental toughness that's going to be necessary for this team to win the championship.
Okay.
All the other stuff, I don't.
What about the Celtics? Who do you want to see them play?
I want to see them play the Knicks.
Okay, but you can't just say the Knicks for everyone.
No, the New York. I want to see you. Right now, I wouldn't say the Milwaukee Bucks. Right now, I certainly wouldn't say Philadelphia. So what do I want? I want to see a test. Like I want to see you get tested, right? Orlando right now, they're not going to be at full. They're not
They
going
will
to
be
be.
by the playoffs. They'll be fully healthy by the playoffs. Fingers crossed. Everything goes in the right
One
direction.
kid had an ACL.
Who?
Wagner. Is it
That's Mo
was it
Wagner off the bench.
Mo?
Franz Wagner will be
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
But
but
yeah, yeah, Mo was playing great basketball.
yeah, I mean Milwaukee. Well, they just put Chris Middleton back on. I don't
All
know if
right,
he'll be.
let's do the West because that's a lot more fun. Who do you want to see the
Yeah.
Thunder play?
Well, hold on. I'm looking at the Boston, Indiana. No. Boston, Detroit. No. Boston, Atlanta. No. Boston, Chicago.
Boston,
Like,
give me Boston, Miami. Give me Boston, Philly. Just give me any of those teams I don't like, and we'll sweep them.
no. I want to see Boston play in New York, get booed, and have to face that rivalry. I
We'll see
want to
that in the
see
conference
that.
finals.
Yeah, okay, that's what I want to see.
All right, who do you want to see the Thunder playing?
The only player that can play when I say the only, not the only player, there will be players that will play and you will get hot whenever. Right now, if you're just saying right now, I want to see how they're going to play against Jokic because Jokic is the only player that's dominating like Shea is dominating. One is dominating on the perimeter and the other is dominating in the interior. In the playoffs, it's much more difficult to guard and defend a player who's dominating the way Jokic plays because he can go all over the court, where Shea has to get to all of the places on the court. And you can shrink the court on him in the play. You could take away something. You could take away something. It's very hard when you have a player who can play from the weak side in the playoffs, right? Because you can do misdirectional things. You can manipulate the game with a player like Jokic. Shea is going to be it's going to be much more difficult for him to dominate in that series. Not saying that he can't, but it's going to be much more difficult because Shea's biggest asset as compared to Jokic, but Jokic is a little different because Jokic can also control the game with his passing.
Mm.
So just from an intellectual viewership, if you will, it may not be fun for the casual fan. It used to be when you were a lead guard, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, those guys, they could actually control the flow of the game versus a great player and win the game. Okay. And then it wasn't until Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, these guys figured out how to manipulate the game with their passing as well. You see, so passing kind of trumps everything. It allows you to play is what I term, this is just my term, as a hybrid player. You want to be a hybrid player in the playoffs. You want to be able to manipulate the game as a scorer when need be, as a defender when need be, and as a passer, but passing trumps everything
Hmm.
because it allows you to dictate and initiate in any course during the game, right? Because great players can all go from A to B with the dribble. So Jokic is the ultimate hybrid player. He's the ultimate hybrid player in today's game,
Yeah.
and he does it from the center position. So I think that would be a great matchup to see.
Okay. What about the Rockets?
Rockets can play anyone. Rockets, Memphis would be good just because of the excitement and
Mm.
the energy. You know what I mean? You, you
I
got
would.
you
Do
got
you know what?
basically
I would like to see Rockets and Dallas play because I think guarding Kyrie and Luka is tough. But when you've got guys like a Dylan Brooks and a Amon Thompson to go up against them, I would be interested to see how those matchups kind of go.
yeah, Amen. Listen, he's going to be a great player. However, the experience.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
Get
experienced
yeah,
enough.
but this would be great for his career. Get thrown in at the deep end, guarding one of the two best scorers of this
Yeah, it may
generation.
be. It may be. You know what? It may be. I would
Who do you
love to
want to
see
see
him.
who do you want to see the Mavericks play?
Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to see them play and the reason I want to see them play Minnesota is because I want to see Anthony Edwards not settle
Hmm.
for just 3-point shooting. That's what I want to see. I want to see him not settle. I think they are at the right around the same timeline. Both teams have, you know, they have experience. I think that would be a good series. But I mean, I'm not like
Are there any other matchups that, like, because Big Con mentioned Spurs versus Denver in the playoff series would be fantastic.
Spurs Denver. That does nothing for me.
Really?
Nothing. It does nothing for me. No, and like
I think
I,
watching Jokic and Wemby against anyone would be fun. Each of them.
I am cautious to say this right now. When you start getting to the playoffs, that's a different game. Like when you watch San Antonio play, they just shoot threes.
That's every team.
Half of Wemby's shots are just shooting threes right now. He'll have 22 shots, 11 of them will be from the three. I'm not interested in that in the playoffs. I'm not. He I need penetration from my guards, from my bigs to be able to penetrate the defense, to be able to take advantage of what needs to be taken advantage of. He can't do that yet. He can't do that yet. So all of the things that we're talking about in the regular season, you shoot 15 threes. Okay, we've lived through that. We know how that ends. We know how that ends. And the San Antonio Spurs, they're not built yet to make a playoff run. They're still kind of figuring out who they are, what they do, how they're going to play, and that's fine. That's their route right now. That's their team. I'm not interested in watching my center on a trail just you know jack up a three. I'm not interested in running pick and pop as my go-to play in the fourth quarter. I'm not. I'm not. I'm interested in playing big boy basketball in the playoffs. Okay, let's get the ball to my best player below the free throw line, and either you're going to play him mano a mano, or you're going to double team him, and then we're going to play. I'm interested in the strategy of the game. The Spurs aren't there yet. Do I think they'll get there? Yes. Do I think Wembanyama will get there? Wemby will eventually be able to play like that? Of course he will. Of course. But right now, I'm not interested in the pick and pop thing. I'm not interested in that. And right now, they don't have the depth to make the adjustments to play in the playoffs. So what's their adjustment right now? Who's their second best scorer right now?
You'd be looking at someone like Vassell.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just like I want to give this team time. Give this team time, and then once we give them time, then they'll get there. But right now, let's allow Wemby to figure out what he needs to figure out. Let's figure that out. Right now, Mo, if they run a pick and roll and they switch, does Wemby dive?
Pop.
So right now, I'm not interested in that. Is it fun to watch a 7-4 guy, 7-5 guy shoot three? Yeah, it's fun to watch in the regular season. But in the playoffs, when you go down 1-0 and you lose by 15 points, what's the adjustment they're going to make right now? They can't with him right now.
Mm.
So let's move on. Just like we saw last night or the last time they played against Milwaukee. What would the adjustment be if they were playing against Milwaukee in the playoffs, based on what we saw? He had
It'd be
10 points
tough.
and 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. That's what I'm saying. He's just not there yet. I'm not trying to rush this. I'm going to respect it where he's at. Is it nice for him to play and catch Jokic in the regular season? Yeah, he had a great game. But what happened in the second game? I mean, Jokic was just like, there's nothing he can do with Jokic.
Mhm.
There's nothing anyone can do with Jokic. That's not fun. No, I'm not going there. I'm not getting seduced by the regular season and applying it to playoff basketball. Um, but he will get there. Wemby will get there.
Well, it is the weekend, BJ. What have you got planned?
It's football, Mo, here in
Oh,
America.
oh, you
It's
guys
the
ain't playing
playoffs.
though.
No, we're scouting, Mo. We're scouting right now. We're just scouting to
What's
figure out
what's the game to watch this weekend?
what is the game to watch. I'm going to be watching a lot of these games. I'm going to say the Commanders versus the Buccaneers,
Okay,
Washington.
okay.
I got my eye on that. I got my eye on that game. I think Green Bay plays
Eagles.
the Eagles, and then the Steelers and the Ravens, because that's Scott's
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
yeah.
there are a lot of games here that we'll be watching here. But so that's what I'll be doing this weekend. Of course, watching the NBA.
Hmm.
And I'll be back, ready to go.
Hey man, I love that. I love that. We'll be back on Monday, so make sure you subscribe
Okay.
to the show. We'll be back on Monday with Scott in the house as usual on Mondays, and we'll be breaking down everything that happens around the NBA because no doubt that something's going to happen this weekend. B. No doubt there'll be some sort of drama from somewhere. No doubt there'll be some good games to watch over the weekend. I hope.
And Mo, we got to get you a job in the NBA so that way we
Yeah,
can test our theories
yeah.
about how to build a team.
I don't think any of these teams are ready for me. Do you know what I mean? Because no, if I say that, it will sound mad. I'm gonna say it anyway. You see, my problem why I don't have a job, I can't kiss no one's ass. I can't do it. Do you know what I mean? I don't do the playing nice. I'm here to do my job to the best of my ability. I don't care if I hurt someone's feelings in the process. That's why I don't think they're ready for me. Because I don't care whose feelings get hurt. I'm trying to win. And I know how people are.
Well, Mo,
People
that's
get in
great.
their feelings and they get upset.
Provided, Mo, they don't understand how to win.
I
That's what I'm
don't know
saying.
if a lot of people in the league right now understand how to win. Looking around the league, but tell me, tell me which teams know how to win right now.
Mo, well, I'll say this. I'll say this. Mo, the one thing when you step into one of those leadership positions. Okay. You have to define the difference between leadership and management.
Mm-hmm.
Are you managing people or are you actually evolving to be a leadership and are you leading the people? Now, those are two different questions. And I say we, our league has evolved now to where we're managing people. We're just managing people. They said, well, what's wrong with managing people? Well, you're managing people, then Mo, you're not giving them the platform that they need to learn and the leeway to, to fall down, get back up, develop relationships, develop the bond. Mo, everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to win. Well, I assume that everyone wants to win.
Hmm.
But the truth of it is, everyone's not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if winning is your barometer, then your relationship becomes transactional.
I can accept not winning as long as I've done everything within my powers to make my best efforts towards winning.
Okay.
What I
Okay.
can't accept is losing on purpose, which we see a lot of.
I don't.
What I
I
can't
don't see a
accept
lot. I
is,
don't see a lot of that. I don't see a lot of that.
have you watched a Pelicans game, a Jazz game, a Trailblazers game, a Nets game,
Mo,
Wizards game, a
I
Raptors
don't
game, a
think they're going
Hornets
out there.
game?
Yeah, I don't think they're going out there on purpose.
No, I don't think the
It's,
players are going out there trying to lose. I don't think the players are ever trying to lose, but I believe the people who are in charge of these teams are trying to lose.
I wouldn't agree with that. And here's why I would say that. Here's why. Mo, they're looking at the same thing we're looking at.
BJ, I'm gonna counteract before whatever you're about to say. I'm gonna just ask you: did you watch the Jazz game where Colin Sexton has the open layup to win the game, and Will Hardy runs onto the court to call timeout before he can take the layup?
Okay, that's fine. We
That
can
was
take
pretty
a
blatant.
we could take that one instance
It's one
and
example.
then put a yeah and then put and project that. But I watched I happened to watch that game. I watched the whole game, so I watched 48 minutes of it.
Yes.
I'm not going to take one play and then put it into this.
When that timeout was called,
Yeah,
everyone knew what he was doing. Everyone
like
in the world knew what he was doing.
okay, that's fine.
He's doing his job, and I'm not mad at him for doing his
I'm gonna
job
I'm gonna
because
give you
his
my
boss
short.
has told him to do that.
Yeah, if that is the case, I don't believe that because, but again, I'm just going by what I have experienced. There's no way that I can coach a whole game, play a whole game, and just wait for the one. Well, I'm just waiting for that one moment to like do something and then perfectly time it. No, I'm not. I'm not going there. I'm not. But that's just me. I didn't have that ability to work that and operate that fast. But maybe you do. I don't have that ability. Never had it. Just never occurred to me that I could be playing a game, doing all this other stuff, and go, "Oh, this is the right moment." Okay, now that's not. I didn't have that ability. I don't have that ability now. Maybe you do, Mo. So okay, I will say what I'm not capable of doing. So I can't speak on that because I don't have the ability to do it. And I've played against a lot of these people, and I know they don't have the ability to do it. But because I'm not giving them that level of intellectual superiority over me where they can do that. I'm not buying it. However, it's one way to look at it. Intellectually, I'm not giving them that level of credit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I watched their plays all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've watched the games all year. Intellectually, no. There might be a
Hey,
few guys who I say may understand the game better than me, but Mo, I'm not giving them majority. Okay, just based on what I've seen. And every year, Mo, I tell you this, I go listen to all of these guys speak at their coaches function. They're coaching you with Brendan Sir, by the way. Every coach and every executive, whether you're currently in the NBA or want to be in the NBA, you should attend this event. And Mo, when I walk out of there every year, I feel better about
yeah.
what I would do if I was sitting in that seat. So trust me on this. No, these guys, these guys aren't that good.
Okay.
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 All right. But
I'll take your
now,
word for it.
but that's just me putting in my work every day. When you go to the gym every day, Mo, you know who can and you know who can't.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. Trust me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
What the credit you're giving them? No, I'm not giving them that.
Okay. Okay.
But hey, they could be playing possum at the lectures. They could be.
Yep.
They could be.
Yep. Yep.
They could be. Okay. That's fair. They could be doing the rope a dope.
Well, if that's the case and everyone is trying to win, then sign me up. You just let me know where to go and I'll be there.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. As you know, Mo, it's hard to win. As you know, to follow it, Mo. When you have great talent, okay? When you have great talent, Mo, and there are only so many players that can play at that level, you have an opportunity to win. So just because you want to win, just because you think you know something someone else, Mo, try winning without a great player. It's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking about playing against great players, you better have great talent to offset that other team that has great players. You can run that. You can have you can have the best offense you want to have. You can have the best defense. You can have all of those things. You can have all the coaching jargon you want. You're only a good coach if you have great players. So there's a lot that goes into this. And that's my challenge to everyone in the NBA, to anyone in any sport. You have to respect that. And Mo, that's the thing is this is a process that you don't know where it's going to come from, when it's going to happen, but more importantly, you don't know which player is going to accept that responsibility to be a great player. Mo, you're sitting on the sideline with me in a suit.
I'm gonna be in a tracksuit.
Talking about you want to win. Well, yeah, okay, good for you. You want to win. So is that the formula? That guy over there in that suit, he just
I ain't
wants
gonna
to
give
win.
them the formula. They got to pay for the formula.
Yeah, but we know the formula. We all know the formula. Okay, so you're paying. So what is it you know that the rest of them don't know? Okay, you have Tim Duncan. What's your formula, Mo? What, you know something I don't know? Wait, you just got smart all of a sudden? This is what I was Mo, I go to these coaching things every year. Here's the formula. Do you have a great player? That's the formula. Like, what's your, and if it's not your formula, let's go to one of the teams in the bottom half of the division and go. Do it.
Okay.
And it's not going to happen with that current roster. Why? You don't have a great player.
Yeah.
So when is a team going to win that doesn't have a great player? Where have you seen it?
There's a first time for everything, my brother. There's a first time for everything.
Don't fall down that path, Bo, to think that you're not playing. You're not doing anything. You're sitting in there eating donuts, watching film, talking about you're working the phones.
I don't eat donuts anymore.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you doing? I'm working the phones. Mo, no. I've been in that room. Nothing is happening in those rooms. Okay? If you don't look out of your window from your nice, comfy office and you don't see the players down there getting after it, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a team win without the players playing in the game. If you don't have one of those guys on your team, yeah, if I got one of them guys and you don't, I'm gonna beat you.
We'll see.
No, we'll see. No, we got the numbers to prove it.
Oh, now you like numbers.
Bo, I love numbers. I respect the numbers. I respect it. I am a numbers guy. However, all of the numbers aren't valued.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you. I know. I'm just messing with you.
But I'm just saying, these guys, you need one of these guys. Hey, Mo, you get one of those guys, You are a great coach. You're a good coach. Well, you're a good coach with one of those guys. That's the formula. I'll say it again, and then I'm going to leave it here. Everyone is not capable of coaching a great player. If you want to figure out who you really are, coach a great player, because
That's
that
correct.
great player will hold you to a level, a standard that you won't believe. To coach one of these guys, the minute one of those guys, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, or Michael Jordan, determine you don't know what you're doing, you have no chance.
Yeah, he'll gone. Yeah,
The
he'll gone.
minute, because these guys are literally savants. And I don't throw around words. Everyone's a genius. Everyone's great. You know what, Mo? No, these three guys aren't great. These three guys are the greatest. There's a difference. Mo, these three guys aren't great. Everybody's striving to be great. These three guys are and were the greatest. There's a difference. I'm challenging this generation to be the greatest, not to be great. Don't be one of. There's been a lot of great players. There's been a lot of great talents. How many people have gone on and tried to be the greatest? You understand the difference here, Mo? That's why these three guys are here. They were the greatest. They didn't come to be one of. They didn't play to be in the same conversation. They didn't ask for permission for that to happen, to occur. Now, with that, Bo, you have no chance to beat me. If I was coaching one or two of these guys, you have no chance.
Well, that's another episode. Make sure you subscribe to the show. But until next time, get buckets.